Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It has been a little while. I have several chronic illnesses and they did not want me to have a fun summer, but I am doing a little better now and can hopefully start making videos again more regularly. So let's kick things off with another episode of Minecraft Archaeology. Today we're building Fushimi Inari Taisha in Kyoto, Japan, and apologies for any and all mispronunciations throughout this video. I'm trying, but I might get things wrong, and I'm sorry if I do. Fushimi Inari Taisha is the head shrine to Inari Okami, or the Shinto spirit or holy entity of foxes, fertility, rice, tea, sake, agriculture, industry, general prosperity, and worldly success. Inari is also one of the principal kami worshipped in the Shinto religion. They can be represented as male, female, or androgynous, and are sometimes seen as a collective of 3 or 4 individual kami instead of just one. Inari is also heavily associated with both foxes and kitsune, which are intelligent foxes that act as Inari's messengers. They're generally depicted as pure white and can have as many as 9 tails, denoting how old, wise, and powerful they are. Now, as we build, I should mention a few things. First, you'll see that I play around with the color a lot in the beginning. The shrine and all of the buildings associated with it are vermilion red, as you can see in these photos. Unfortunately, Minecraft doesn't have much in the way of red blocks. I started building with red concrete because that most closely matched the color, but there are no red concrete slabs or stairs or fences or other blocks that would let me depict some of the finer details. That meant that I needed to use wood, and the 2 main options there are crimson wood, which is actually kind of purplish, and acacia, which is more of an orangey color. Since the red of the actual shrine is more orangey red than purpley red, I went with acacia, but the color here isn't exactly what it is in the shrine. The second thing I should mention is that I am not building the shrines themselves. This is a holy site for many people, and given the issue of color that I've already run into and the significance of that color at this site, which I'll talk about in a minute, I didn't think Minecraft had enough blocks of the right varieties to build the shrines in a respectful manner. Since it's not my culture or religion, I could easily have done something wrong, problematic, or offensive in trying to build the shrines themselves, so I felt it better to build the Romon, or gatehouse, and a representation of the Senbon Torii instead. So that's what we're building today. Okay, so back to the archaeology. The first known worship of Inari comes from 711 AD, with the official founding of the shrine at Inari Mountain or Inariyama in Fushimi, Kyoto. The origin of the shrine was described in Yamashiro no Kuni Fudoki, which is one of a series of ancient reports commissioned by Empress Genmei in 713 AD to collect the place names, natural resources, land fertility, etymology for place names and geographic features, and myths, legends, and folk tales in each province in Japan. Which is a lot. There's a lot of information in these documents, at least the ones that survive, which not all of them do. The tale for the origin of the shrine to Inari at Fushimi Inari Taisha states that Irogu no Hata no Kimi was practicing archery by shooting rice cakes. One of the rice cakes that he was about to shoot turned into a swan and flew away, eventually landing on the peak of a mountain, in this case, Inari Mountain or Inariyama. A good omen occurred when the swan landed, and rice grew in that spot, which led to the name of the kami Inari. Ine means rice in Japanese. Inari Okami was enshrined there in 711. Now, this is a little bit of a different spot than where Fushimi Inari Taisha exactly is. The original shrine was at the peak of the mountain, which you can see here, whereas the current shrine, the shrine itself, is over here, but there's still many paths up to the peak, and many worshippers do walk that path as well. In 816 AD, the shrine was relocated to its current location at the foot of Inari Mountain, or again, Inariyama, which is also called Mitsugamine. During the Heian period, it became a popular shrine for imperial patronage, and it was recognized as a Myojin Taisha in 927 AD, which is a higher status of Shinto shrine. In 965 AD, it was listed among the top 7 of what became the 22 shrines of Heian Japan, which was a list of Shinto shrines to be given imperial support. The list was begun by Emperor Murakami in 965 AD with 16 shrines, and then it was expanded to 21 by Emperor Ichijo in 991 AD, and then expanded again to 22 shrines by Emperor Go-Suzaku in 1039 AD. Unfortunately, during the Onin War, which was a civil war that started as a controversy over who would succeed the current shogun and lasted from 1467 to 1477, both the shrine on the mountain and the larger shrine at its foot were burned down, but they were rebuilt in 1499. The Romon, or two-story front gate, which I'm building here, was actually first built in 1589 AD after a generous donation by Toyotomi Hideyoshi, who was a famous warlord from the Sengoku Jidai, or the Warring States period. That means that for the first 750 years of this site's existence, the building that I'm currently building wasn't here. Toyotomi Hideyoshi made his large donation after praying to Inari Okami and promising to give 10,000 goku, or units of rice, which was the currency at the time, if his very ill mother recovered from her illness. She did, so he made the donation. People thought this was probably more myth than truth for many years, but when the gate was repaired, a text from 1589 was found that states that the pledge was true, so actually we now know that this did occur. Worship of Inari spread in the Edo period, and they began to be associated with things like monetary or business prosperity in addition to agricultural fertility. In 1871, Fushimi Inari Taisha was designated as a Kanpei Taisha under the Meiji government, which is the highest rank a Shinto shrine can hold. It also gained status as a national treasure and is now listed as an important cultural property when the government adopted the National Treasure Preservation Law in 1909, so this is a protected site as well. Interestingly, I couldn't find photographs or floor plans of the second floor of the Romon aside from a few photos taken from outside at ground level. So I've tried to make it out as best I can, but there might be some discrepancies here and there with the second floor. Now, I've talked a lot about the site's history and a bit about the gate here, but there's one extremely well-known part of this site that I haven't even mentioned yet, which is the Senbon Torii. The Senbon Torii are over 10,000 torii, or Shinto archways, that line the paths between the shrine at the foot of the mountain and the various peaks, including Inariyama, at the top. These torii are painted vermilion red, which is significant because the Japanese word for vermilion, ake, can be written in different character combinations. Some of those character combinations mean the specific shade of red, so vermilion red, while others mean red a bit more generally. Some combinations also mean dawn or light and symbolize brightness and hope, and vermilion is also strongly associated with Inari Okami and their various blessings, hence why the color of this site is really, really important. The Senbon Torii have been donated by worshippers since the Edo period, which lasted from 1603 to 1868. And the main path between the shrine and Inariyama consists of roughly 1,000 torii. But even big-name companies today have donated torii here, including Nintendo, whose corporate headquarters are only a 15-minute walk from the shrine. In fact, Star Fox, or Starwing in Europe and Australia, uses a fox as the main character because it reminded the game's creator Shigeru Miyamoto of Fushimi Inari Taisha. Miyamoto also says that he got the inspiration for the gates the player flies through from the Senbon Torii. The hike up to Inariyama and back is roughly 4.2 kilometers or 2.6 miles each way, and takes between 2 and 3 hours. Many visitors have been surprised by how difficult it can be, but there are many smaller shrines, some restaurants, and a scenic overlook of Kyoto along the way to break up the journey. In fact, visitors have found the hike arduous for over 1,000 years. Sei Shonagon wrote in her diary Makura no Soshi, or the Pillow Book as it's known in English, that the climb to the top was exhausting on an entry dated to February of the year 1000 AD. In addition to the thousands of torii, there are also thousands of fox statues across the site. Visitors often tie red bandanas or bibs around the statues, which connects back to the symbolism of red and its associations with Inari. Red is also associated with driving away bad luck, demons, or illnesses, and Inari and their kitsune are often wearing red because you can imagine if the entity in charge of agricultural fertility and growth fell ill, it could be disastrous. Offerings are often left for the kitsune and Inari, including Inari Zushi and fried tofu, which are said to be a favorite of both Inari and their kitsune. And that's it for Fushimi Inari Taisha. There's a lot more to this site, and I highly encourage you to visit when you're able to do so safely. Also, have any of you been to Fushimi Inari Taisha? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel, and if you have a site you'd like me to build, leave a comment down below with your suggestions. Also, I recently launched a Patreon. Patrons get access to the schematics for my builds, including this one, along with things like patron-only live streams and monthly Q&As. If that sounds like something you're interested in, or you'd just like to support the channel, check out the link in the description box below. That's all from me today. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!